Hello, welcome to Cerulean Arts Gallery. Tonight we're speaking with Fran Gallun about her Cerulean Arts Collective Exhibition, which is on through June the 30th. Hello, Fran.
Hi, Mike.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
You've titled your current exhibition Back to My Roots and Stems and Leaves. Can
Hmm.
you talk about that?
Sure. Well, as usual, I like to inject a little levity. And I've noticed in the past, well, quite a few years now, reusing old canvases and old papers and lots of things that I'm cutting up and repurposing. And so in that regard, it's and also the return to a still life genre, which is was where I started, but it's taken a sideways. It's gone sideways. But so all of that feels to me like back to my roots, but uh, and then the stems and leaves. Um, Refer to the fact that I've also started in the last 2 or 3 years working from life again, which I hadn't done in decades. So uh, I see each of these is well, this one is an older piece in particular that got cut up and repurposed. Really,
So you're
that's it.
cutting things up, yes, and collaging them?
Yeah, like yeah, yes, literally cutting them up. The one next to it with the bits of orange you can see was a little more recent, but was a monotype with uh, several different colors using cutout shapes as a stencil, and that got cut up and then collaged on top. The darker pieces are the little narrative kind of funny little forest there is collage,
So
tiny little piece.
how did you come to collage in the first place?
Ah, well, that's a big story because it kind of happened almost overnight, really. I way back, um, way back, 1988, I attended a workshop for 10 days that was given by the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, and they restricted you to all water-based materials, no oil paint, no canvas. And up until that time, that's all I had been using. So that was like, I wonder what's going to happen. And what happened was me getting back to using mixed media materials and work on paper. And also at that time, working from my imagination, which previously I hadn't done. All these still lifes that I was doing were actual still lifes in the studio setups. Um, so that's why it's really a return. And in my statement, this time for this show, I refer to that. Um, and then about, almost 10 years ago, when the vessel shapes, well, this one is from life, uh, but hopefully quirky enough to be recognized as mine. Um, uh, Returning to shapes and objects, the vessel shape in particular was, yeah, seemed to be out of step and out of place and not moving forward and all those kinds of things that you worry about. And then after you get used to it and let it go, let all that go, it started really working. So I just love mixed media and working on paper and collage. I feel it's so forgiving. You just keep gluing over things that you don't like and can tear things up and reuse them. And it's a whole different way of thinking. But now these two large ones in this show, um, are on canvas, and the canvas itself is an old painting that never really was shown and just kind of ended up rolled up on a tube. And I thought that would make a good background. So I cut it in half and stretched it on the 36 by 24. And first, the one on the right that you can see was the first one. And then I did its companion a couple months later. Um, and this one is called Straw into Gold. I think about and this is in the statement also, the old Rumpelstiltskin up there with a room full of straw and working feverishly to turn it all into gold before she guesses his name. So the straws is all of these scraps and things that are from old pieces and former work. And then when they find their way, and they, if I may say, or I dare say, can become gold. They work. So it's a lot of fun to play with that.
And
And
Fran, color seems to be an important feature of your work.
yes, it always has been. Um,
So do you start with color first and then assemble imagery around it, or they both come at the same time, or how do you work it out?
well, it all comes at the same time. I um, really don't plan. There's something that will be a stimulant, like to start, like these two big ones. It was the canvas, the old canvas that I love the colors. They're deep and rich. And the one on the right, the main character being that vase and the vase of flowers, and the vase itself was cut as a possibility from old paint, from painted paper. Um, and there it was, and it fit perfectly in that space. And so, yeah,
So
it's just
is
how
the
I work
color
with
like,
color. Everything is always vibrant, or
yeah, I
almost,
mean, it's pretty bright. I mean,
yeah.
are you working like more with pure color a lot, or how do you, you
Well,
know,
I guess I am. And the color relationships that are so that make it all work. Uh, some of some of the ones that are from life, that like the one beside it there, they're softer and they're paler. It's gouache.
this is watercolor?
It's gouache. It's which is of course water-based, but I'm comfortable with that. Even using it in a thin way or using it in a thicker way. There's some others on the other wall that are a little more thickly painted, but the pen and ink, the drawing is always very appealing to me. And then and the water looking there with the ocean there in the background. So those are a little less vibrant, but the cut papers, the canvas that I repurpose, I just go for intense colors. I don't know how to explain it. It's part of the expressiveness, I guess, of how I work. Yeah. Yeah, this is a sweet little one. And that little still life, the vase of flowers there is cut from newspaper. That is not my vase of flowers. That is which makes me laugh. I So it's good if it makes me laugh, I know I'm onto something, or chuckle. Uh, and I've been using newspaper. Newspapers are now printing a lot of stuff in color and pattern and all kinds of things. So that vase is newspaper, and an old piece. The background is, the rest of it is all mine. An old piece really from, oh gosh, 20 years ago. And these things are, fortunately, I have two big tables, 4 by 8 feet, and they're just filled with painted papers and cut old work. And I know where everything is. I can find everything. So of course, what it's sitting on, that kind of like, as though it were sitting on the material or fabric, that's painted paper. And then there's tiny little green um, base of the vase that underneath kind of highlighting the newspaper.
So, Fran,
So
what is it
I quite
about
like that
still life?
one. Mhm.
What is it about still life that attracts you?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Um, I've been th I think about that a lot. I think it's so oh gosh, monumental really in its way, and that the objects themselves become the characters. It I love the geometry of it, the horizontal surface, and then the vertical objects, and of course with laced with diagonals that appear. Um, it's like ancient and forever. It can be religious, like the altar, where the what you bring is an offering. It has such a wonderful history, and yeah, it can be, and it's actually an abstract painting, really. I mean, if you broke it down and um took away some of the other elements, so it's all abstraction. So, and I'm relieved not I without it helps me not to do figures, because I'm get too involved in the a person's face is totally riveting, and that's all you can ever look at. So I'm happier with the objects, and in this case, these flowers, especially these crazy cone flowers. They're the best. They
So, are
just,
these things you bring into the studio, or are you doing them like on site, outside?
well, the cone flowers are from photographs. And
Mm.
that's also, I know, that's like, ooh, whoa. I tell students, you really should be working from life. Um, but I don't know. I'm now at this point in time, I'm allowed to do anything I want. So I'm doing it. The and most of the others are from life. The paler ones, the pen and ink. The other, well, the cone flowers are pen and ink too. But yeah, yeah, there they are. Um, kind of going wild. Mhm.
Well, I mean, your
Right, the
work is
color
very,
relationship. I mean, there it is, the red and green. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, your work has a very sort of joyful, exuberant quality.
I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you.
Is that something you're striving for, or it just comes out?
No, it just comes out. It just comes out. It's well, Mike, I mean, all these years, you kind of learn that you have to put it out there and be yourself, and not not hold back anymore. Um, yeah. So I think that's part of what's happening here also.
And
Um,
recently, you've been doing etching.
Yeah, I've done two of them with Cindy Ettinger, who a lot of people know is the wonderful artist and printer. Um, to try that's wonderful fun too. I had been doing big mono printing myself in the Fleischer print studio, but with cutouts, like stenciling and doing multiple colors in that way. But then I just wanted to try dry point, and with using plexiglass and being able to get the different colors in an etching, because it's such a challenge. It's such fun to get your brain to shift and work backwards and separate out the colors and all of that. So I think those were seen in the beginning part of our little talk here. And these two are harken back. I mean, they're not old really. This one I think is from 21 and the other one is from 23 or 24. But to these little shapes and these kind of vessel things, uh, ideas, I've been doing, well, since 2015, and in a way to like find out how I'm getting pulled back into using these shapes again, these so-called, in quotes, still life shapes. And here they are all lined up and organized. um,
They have almost a hieroglyphic quality.
yeah, I'm happy for that, because it is a rhythm and a language, and something that I love is cuneiform, an ancient strata, like the way they're arranged like that. Uh, yeah, I had a whole 10 years where I was doing narrow bands of imaginary landscape and the idea of the strata and layers and what's underneath and what we can't see. That idea, those ideas in that. But I'm still very drawn to the horizontal line uh, and multiple horizontal lines, like you can see here.
It's a wonderful show, Fran.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much. And it looks wonderful. It's always amazing to see the work hanging, and it's just perfect. You and Tina do the best job.
Thank you. The show is up through June 30th, and we hope people can come and see it. Everything's also available on our website, ceruleanarts.com. Well, thanks again, Fran, and thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Mike and Tina. Yeah, it was fun.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.